Hello and welcome back to another video on Football Zone and to a weekend review, reviewing Premier League and Championship action from this weekend, and starting off on Friday night with a bit of a double draw. Chelsea and their £600 million worth of signings held at home to Fulham. That kind of sums it up. Not the best game I've ever seen this. Chelsea, there just wasn't much to split between the two sides. I don't know, will it take a bit of time for the new signings to adapt and all that? Yes, of course it will, but I still expect to see more from Chelsea here. But for Fulham, another great point, and they're continuing their great season. They looked every bit worth their draw here. Moving on then to Saturday's game, and definitely the shock of the weekend, Everton defeating Arsenal 1-0, Sean Dyche masterclass, the only goal of the game coming in the 60th minute through Tarkowski. McNeil with the assist, a goal made in Burnley with Sean Dyche as well. And Everton played really, really well here and put effort into the team. And for me, I don't think you could argue that they didn't deserve the win. Arsenal weren't at their best here. Definitely an off day for them. And Everton, best we've seen them, shows the Dyche effect. But for Arsenal, this will be a big concern. They need to respond quickly. But moving on then to Wolves. And they picked up an astonishing 3-0 win over Liverpool. Liverpool's season just gets worse and worse and worse. They were 2-0 down within 12 minutes. Craig Dawson with one goal, Matip with an own goal, and Neves in the 71st minute, giving Wolves the comfortable victory. What a great win this was for Wolves. Liverpool, Klopp really slating his team for the first time. I don't think he's slated them like that before. That kind of sums the situation up for Liverpool. But for Wolves, great win. They're starting to pull away from the relegation picture. But moving on then to Old Trafford, where Manchester United defeated Crystal Palace 2-1. It's potentially more nervy than it should have been. Bruno Fernandes in the 7th minute gave them the lead from the spot before Rashford in the 62nd minute made it 2. Casemiro was then sent off following a big dust up in the 70th minute. And when Schlupp scored in the 76th minute, it made it nervy. But in the end, they held on. Good win for Manchester United, deserved win really before it got a bit nervy towards the end. Good win for them. Palace may be frustrated they couldn't take advantage of the 10 men, but for United they'll be pleased. Moving on into Brighton 1, Bournemouth 0, and this was about patience for Brighton. Didn't break the late log until the 87th minute through Matoma, on the whole there's little doubt they deserved it. Good win for them. They can keep on marking on into 6th place. What a great season they're having. For Bournemouth, it'll be frustrating because they defended so well, but in the end it wasn't quite enough. And with teams around them doing so well this weekend, that could feel like a big blow for them. So they'll be extremely disappointed with that, you feel like. But moving on then to Brentford 3, Southampton 0 at and the Brentford Community Stadium. Ben Mee, Brian and Bumo with 2 goals on the stroke of half time, and Jensen in the 80th minute sealing a win. And good win for Brentford. They were by far the best team here. Southampton all at sea. 6 losses and 7 for Nathan Jones in the Premier League. They're doing alright in the cuts, but in the Premier League, they're starting to get cut adrift, aren't they? They're as I'm recording this before these games, 3 points off the drop zone. Leeds have 2 games in hand, and bottom by 2 points. They need to sort that out. But for Brentford, their incredible season keeps on going. But moving on into Villa 2, Leicester 4 at Villa Park. Ollie Watkins in the 9th minute gave Villa the lead before Maddison in the 12th minute made it 1-1. Harry Souttar, nightmare debut, scoring an own goal in the 32nd minute, made it 2-1 to Villa. But Iniache, Tete and Pryor made it 4-2 to Leicester. And a game which I think Villa may feel hard done by to lose by 4 goals to, but a big win for Leicester. Obviously they haven't been on the best run recently, so good win for them to pull away. But Villa will be frustrated, I think. Just one of those games really. But moving on then to Newcastle 1, West Ham 1 at St James's Park. Joe Willock had a goal disallowed in the 1st minute through VAR, but Newcastle made up for it 2 minutes later through Callum Wilson. But Paqueta in the 32nd minute made it 1-1. And after 3 minutes when Newcastle got the ball in West Ham's net twice, I think West Ham would have taken a draw. And they came back really well, actually played really well. Newcastle maybe still on a high from the week, but for West Ham that's a really solid point. Newcastle not at their best here, but still picking up a point at least. On Sunday in the Premier League, we started off with Forest taking on Leeds in a big game down at the bottom of the Premier League, and it was Forest who came out on top. 14th minute goal from Brennan Johnson, lovely goal. And after that, Leeds, they kind of had more of the game as you'd expect them to be trailing, but in the end Forest held on. Kayla Laves, still weird to see him in a Forest shirt, but he played very well. And Forest, I would say, deserving of 3 points, massive 3 points. They're now 6 points over the relegation zone, looking in a comfortable position. But Leeds ahead on goal difference, got a game in hand, but next to against Manchester United, concerning. Moving on then to Tottenham 1, Manchester City 0 at White Hart Lane, and Harry Kane in the 15th minute becoming the leading Tottenham goal scorer of all time. An incredible achievement, and Jet speaks to how good he is. So yeah, really impressive. And Tottenham, for me, they were deserving the win. Man City, I don't know what it is about them, but at the moment they just don't seem right at the moment. And really, this was their big chance to make up ground on Arsenal, and they failed miserably. And this weekend's kind of almost a write-off now for the two title challengers. Moving on then to the Championship games, and on Friday night it finished West Brom 1, Coventry 0 at the Hawthorns. Grady Diangana with the only goal of the game in the 15th minute, and a game which West Brom deserved to win. Really good performance from them, and continuing their really solid run of form under Carlos Corberán after a few defeats on the trot. But one in the cup, one to Burnley, so but back into the playoff positions now. That's a big win for them. But Coventry down in 15th, disappointing result from this one, and kind of feels like their season is just petering into mid-table. But it's not the end of the world for them. Moving on then to Rotherham 0, Sheffield United 0 at the New York Stadium, and a really good result for Rotherham on this. Sheffield United kind of dominated the game, but on the whole they didn't create too much. Only 2 shots on goal, so good win for good draw for Rotherham. And they were developing a really good run of form, one that I kind of didn't see coming, to be honest. But we've got 5-point gaps to relegation zone now. Huddersfield do have a game in hand, but still it's starting to look a bit more healthy for them after what was looking like a really difficult patch. Sheffield United disappointed not to take all 3 points, but they're so far ahead I don't think it'll matter too much. At Carrow Road it finished Norwich 0, Burnley 3. Zauri in the 8th minute, Vitinho in the 54th minute, and Ekdal in the 60th minute secured the comfortable win for Burnley. Burnley, they were absolutely dominant here. It's men against boys for large parts, and that's just so impressive when you consider Norwich won the last 2 games, scoring 4 goals. It just shows how good Burnley are, and I can see them breaking records. They're playing so well at the moment. But moving on then to a crazy game at Liberty Stadium, Swansea 3, Birmingham 4. Hogan gave Birmingham in the 40th minute before Pirro and Cullen made it 2-1. Chong equalised for Birmingham in the 55th minute, but Pirro scored again in the 58th minute to make it 3-2. Going into the 90th minute, when Juktovic and Trusty in the 97th minute sealed the win for Birmingham. Unbelievable scenes. And a game that probably, I would say, deserved to draw, but Birmingham nick it right at the end, and what a huge win that was for Birmingham, because they've been struggling recently. But for Swansea, they'll be gutted. You can't be leaving that winning going into stoppage time. Birmingham, an incredible comeback. Moving on then to Hull 1, Cardiff 0 at the KCOM, and Callum Robinson in the 23rd minute missed a penalty, and they were made to pay for that in the 62nd minute when Hull took the lead through Cyrus Christie. And again, with not much separating the two sides, but it's just the clinical nature of Hull taking their chance when Cardiff fluffed theirs, and Hull pick up another 3 points, moving into the top half of the table. Leon Rossini doing a very good job there, but for Cardiff, disappointing. Needs to take those chances. Sabri Lujamucci will be realising what a big job he has. Reading 2, Watford 2 was the score at the Medeski Stadium, Ismaila Sarr gave Watford lead in the 30th minute before Pretorius in the 48th minute made it 2-0 to Watford. It seemed to be game over, but Tom Ince from the penalty spot in the 66 minutes, and Jeff Hendrick, a lovely goal in the 80th minute, made it 2-2. On the whole, good win, good comeback from Reading, and for me, they were worthy of their draw. Watford be frustrating when you're chasing a playoff, leading 2-0 like that. I don't think you can drop points, but fair play to Reading, good fight back, and they deserved it. But moving on then to Preston 1, Bristol City 2 at Deepdale. Sykes and Bell with the 2 goals for Bristol City before half time. Ched Evans in the 61st minute pulled one back, and Preston piled on the pressure, but in the end couldn't find the equaliser. And fair play to Bristol City, they defended well here, but Preston I think will be wondering how on earth they didn't get back into this one and at least get something from it, because for me they probably were the best team here. But Bristol City moving up in the table, great result for them. Preston though, inconsistent form remains. Moving on then to Millwall 1, Sunderland 1 at the Den, and Jake Cooper in the 59th minute and Kirkin in the 81st minute with the goals. Good fight back from Sunderland. Maybe Millwall, I think at home, will be disappointed that they didn't take all 3 points here. For me, they probably had the better of the game, but there we go. Sunderland missing Ellis Sims, that's going to be a big blow for them. But for Millwall and Sunderland, I think both these teams, kind of on the reflection of the game, will be thinking it could have won that game as they both pursue a playoff spot. But at the Riverside, it was Middlesbrough 3, Blackpool 0 at the Riverside Arena. Chuba Akpom with 2 goals in the 32nd and the 59th minute. What a season he's having. And Paddy McNair scoring again later on in the 70th minute. And good win for Middlesbrough. They were dominant here. Carrick Ball continues to be setting the championship alight. Only 10 points off Sheffield United. It's a long way to go. But another win for Middlesbrough. They're looking good for a playoff spot now. But yeah, Blackpool, Mick McCarthy, he's got a lot of work to do there. But moving on then to the Nathan Jones derby as Luton took on Stoke at Kenilworth Road. Ruddock in the 6th minute gave Luton the lead, and in the end that was enough. Luton, I would say, worthy for their 3 points. Good win for them. Stoke will be disappointed, but yeah, I mean, like Luton, they're continuing momentum under Rob Edwards. He's doing a great job there. Also, like Middlesbrough, looking really good for their place in the playoffs as well as things currently stand. But Stoke still only 6 points clear of the relegation zone. Huddersfield 1, QPR 1 was the score at the John Smith Stadium. Jamalo in the 13th minute gave QPR the lead before there was an equaliser in the 39th minute through Waghorn. And yeah, Huddersfield, I think in the end, maybe they'll consider themselves fortunate for a point. Maybe they won't. I would say a draw is probably a fair result actually on the whole. Wasn't too much to separate the two sides. Critchley, he's still got a lot of work to do at QPR. It's not massively clicked really for him since he took over. But for Huddersfield, a draw, and I think it's those games where if they want to stay up, they kind of need to be turning those into 3 points. Blackburn 0, Wigan 0 was the score at Ewood Park on Monday in the Championship. And yeah, it's a game which I would say Blackburn probably had better of the play, really, although it was quite an even game, not a lot on it, not the greatest game I've ever seen, to be honest. But yeah, for Wigan, first game under new manager Caldwell, to get a point in a high-flying Blackburn on debut is a really good start. Now looks to build on that, but Blackburn dropped outside the playoffs now, and you kind of feel like these are games that they need to be winning if they really want to keep up the playoff charge with some of the form of the teams around them at the moment. But anyway, guys, that's it for video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit lots of comments down below. Follow us for daily football news and subscribe to my channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.